Hey man, this is SMURF Luciano, KERBY BLOCC CRlP's finest out of Portland, Oregon. Shout out DustyVisionTV.
Last time we talked about you getting shot back in 1989. I wanted to actually touch more on that because it's a deep story. And you were set, for anybody out there who didn't check out the first interview, you were set to go to the University of Oregon on a scholarship. And I believe it was your 11th grade year. Your life turned upside down and your dreams were dashed, and that led to you're walking with a limp to this day from that specific incident. But I would like to talk to you about, what you were going through around that time, specifically the next day when you woke up after getting shot. What emotions were you going through? Were you mad? Did you want revenge? Talk to me.
Man, when I got shot, let me tell you what happened. What transpired before me getting shot was my grandmother had a friend that lived right across the street from the school where we hung out at all the time. And her friend that came over previously, because he was our yard man. He would come cut the yard and stuff. But my grandmother was from Texas, Galveston, and the yard man was from Galveston. They knew each other since high school. So he came over and told my grandma, like, "Hey, I see SMURF. He's hanging out with these KERBY BLOCC CRlPs. He's over there every day. My grandson is from KERBY, and your grandson and my grandma's son will be together every day. They into some gang stuff." So my grandmother asked me, she said, "Hey, are you hanging out with the gangs? Are you from KERBY?" I said, "No." I said, "Them was my friends. I played basketball with them, but I ain't really crippin' like that, Grandma." She said, "Whatever you do, don't straddle the fence. Either you want to be in or you want to be out. If something happened to you, I want you to really be a part of it or to not have been involved at all." I said, "Yeah, okay, Grandma." And the next day, I left school early from Lincoln High School, went back to our neighborhood in Northeast Portland. We got into it with some local bloods from Portland, and the LA bloods came back around there. We went to square off with them, fight, and they started shooting, and I got shot. So when the ambulance pulled up, I knew I was shot because I couldn't move. My leg was broke. I was turning around backwards. The ambulance pulled up and the news pulled up at the time because back then the news would pull up whenever there was a shooting.
Wow, they just followed the ambulance. Yeah.
They just followed the ambulance. So when they picked me up off the ground, I covered my face up with my arm to cover my face up because I didn't want my grandmother to see me on the news at the time. But I had a pistol in my pocket when they picked me up off the ground. So when I woke up a week later, because I had 10 different surgeries in that week because it hit the artery. And I basically had bled out. Got mouth to mouth, bled out. The tight tourniquet on me. And on my ride to the ambulance, all I could think of was, damn, I hope my grandmother don't find out that I was over here and got shot. In my mind, I was thinking that I was going to be able to go home with a flesh wound. And that wasn't the case. They hit the artery and broke the bone. My femur was broken, and so I had to. I didn't wake up for a week later. I woke up a week later after I'd been through 10 surgeries. What was on my mind was trying to convince my grandmother that I really wasn't in the gang. I had been banging like a motherfucker.
Damn, that was your main concern right there. Not, I guess, disappointing Grandma.
Not disappointing Grandma because Grandma knew I was an athlete. She had taken care of me when my parents was on crack cocaine, and I just didn't want to let her down.
Talk to me about what happened when you got shot. The first time.
The first time? Well, I was an athlete first of all, so I played sports. It was my junior year. The coach wouldn't let me play basketball on the varsity team my junior year. And my homeboys was always playing basketball over in the hood, so we had bussed over to a school called Lincoln. So we was going to school over there. Once the coach wouldn't let me play varsity, I was leaving school early, going back to our neighborhood, and we was out there playing hoop. KERBY's was playing against the 60s, and then we played a game against the CBCs, which is another group out of Portland called Columbia Villa Crips. Okay. So we was playing games in our neighborhood against the 60s and the CBCs. Everybody that came over that day to join us to, we was all just cripping, just having a good time, really, and playing basketball. And arrived, they rolled up, Bloods rolled up, we got to arguing. We went down there to fight them. We got that ready to fight them. Somebody pulled out a gun, started shooting. I ended up being one of the people getting shot that day. And like I was 17 at the time, with a scholarship to play football at University of Oregon.
Damn, dog.
So that ended the scholarship. And then from there, it was just, I was gung ho, really, from there, because I had lost all my dreams and my hopes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's happened with a lot of young men across America who might didn't think that they would be the victim or succumb to gang violence, because they thought that maybe, I might can escape and be the one to get out of here. Because I thought that was me at the time. And so I got shot. I ended up being in the hospital for 2 months. I got shot with a .357. It broke my leg, hit me right in the knee, went through the artery, shattered my femur. I got nerve damage, and I walk with a bad limp right now from that. And that's been since I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Well, I'm Park Bloods, and then you had the loped out Pyrus. I look at it now, and it's like, yeah, we walked up to them to fight. They ended up shooting first. But when I got shot, once the paramedics got me, when I fell, I tried to throw the gun because I had a gun on me. I just didn't. I was 17 years old. I really hadn't been in a gun battle at that time. But I'm sure had the fight not went my way, now that I'm at the age that I'm at, I probably would have shot one of them.
And things could be different.
When the ambulance pulled up, they scooped me up. They gave me a mouth-to-mouth. They gave me a tourniquet tied off my leg. And then they found a gun on the playground that I had thrown earlier.
Damn.
To look up and see your leg turned around all the way backwards,
Damn.
Because my hip had popped out of the socket from the force of the .357 Magnum. And I did a full flip, a full flip and a half, then landed.
God damn, dog.
Man, so, at 17, that's crushing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you said shortly after that, you went to jail for shooting someone.
A year later, I was handing out invitations to my graduation, and riding around, and went to a stop at the store, and the guy got out. The Blazers were in the playoffs, playing a playoff game, and he was drunk. Came up, called me a nigger, called my friend a nigger.
Wow.
And I went in the store and asked the store owner, "Hey man, can you help me out with the situation?" The guy's calling me a nigger. I don't want to hurt this man. I'm just trying to leave. And the guy said, "Hey man, I give you some quarters," because at the time it was just payphones. He said, "Yeah, I give you some quarters, then go ahead and leave." So I went in the store to get the quarters. When I came out, the white guy had ran my friend about a half a block away. And I pulled up to get my friend, and the white guy ran up on the car, hit the car with the shovel, broke out the window. And I climbed out from the driver's side, put it in the park. While he was jabbing through the window with the shovel, I climbed out the passenger side, pulled the shotgun out that I already had in the car, ran him down and shot him. He called me in there and called me in there, ran him down and shot him. And so that's the first time that I had went to jail for shooting, was right then. Racially motivated, calling me a nigger, trying to decapitate me with a shovel.
You went to jail.
And I had the right to bear arms. I was 18 years old and I had a shotgun.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Was it an illegal weapon? So it was legal? It was
Everything was legal.
Wow, dog.
Everything was legal, but him running a block away from his car.
Oh, okay.
To get shot in the middle of the street with a shovel in his hand.
Okay.
And so I ended up taking a plea bargain. I was on the run for about 2 months, seeing that it was all over the news, and that the guy was in the wrong and that I was in the right. Turned myself in. Took a deal for an assault 3. Assault 3 ended up with 3 years probation. And then later on, they put the plug on the guy from complications of the bullet wound, of the gunshot wound.
Whoa. Damn. And did you face another charge, or?
No, they had an option that they could have charged me again, but they didn't.
Okay.
Because I had already taken the deal.
Gotcha.
For the assault, they couldn't charge me twice.
Yeah. Double Jeopardy or something? I don't know. I don't know shit about the law.
It would, or it would have been double jeopardy.
Oh, okay. Damn. Now I was reading also.
Yeah, so that was 1989 and 1990.
Your grandma said something that Boosie, the rapper, said similar in a Vlad TV interview. He said, basically, you can't straddle the fence. He said you can't have 1 foot in the street and 1 foot on the stage. Basically, either you're going to be an entertainer or you're going to be a gangster. It's really hard, almost if not impossible, to be both.
You know what? It's a trip that you say that, right? So I went to jail in, I got shot in 89, shot the dude in 1990. In 91, my first son was on the way, and I had caught a case. I beat like 2 cases before that. In 91, I caught a pistol case. And I went in front of the judge. And the judge said, well, hey, what do you have going on? And, you know, they do all the stuff for the preliminary. So what do you got going on? So I go to college. He said, Mr. Norman, you've been in my courtroom 2 or 3 different times. And for some reason, you're always in school. And you always got a gun. You're out late at night with guns and dope. The daytime you're in school. You can't straddle the fence and be a scholar in the daytime and a gangster at night. So I'm going to give you 6 months to go think about what you want to do with your life. That was the first time I went to the penitentiary. Wow. I was already turned on from when I got shot, though. Once I got shot, it wasn't nothing but all smoke from there.
Oh, okay. So you went gung-ho, I think you said last time.
Yeah, it was all smoke from there. And the scholar thing just had me to where I almost felt like I could manipulate the system if I did things according to the book. Not be seen, do what you're going to do at nighttime, don't be seen, don't hindsight, don't brag. Like they do nowadays on this internet and the social media. I was never that kind of guy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of OGs or, you know, people who are in it 20 plus years ago who say the same thing. You know, these kids are flashing everything and they're literally making the police's job easy for them, dog.
Even right now where I'm from, if a police officer was to pull up to me from my era, they would feel like this dude got away with so many things. We need something to be able to catch him on something. But because I'm not into the flashiness, I do music, I promote my entertainment, but I don't talk about really my gangbanging side. That's in the past. That's where I'm from. That's the reality of my life. The music is entertainment. It's an art. I ain't Lil Boosie. I ain't Mozzie, Lavish D. I'm not none of them dudes. They rap about what they've been through and what they did. My whole thing, but it's always been entertainment with me. And so any music you might hear of mine is entertainment. I might talk about the past on some of the music, but I never talk about what's going on now or what I foresee happening in the present.
Good. And that's why I very rarely interview people, you know, under, 38, 40, I like to talk to people who have been out of the life. I don't want to talk to some guy who's 22 and he brings up a crime that one of his homeboys did yesterday on my show, which is another reason why I don't really go live, because this is a kind of the gang life is touchy and I don't want some dummy to say something on my show. Next thing you know, I got the feds wanted to subpoena episode 43 where I interviewed such and such.
Because they will subpoena it. Like I said, when I did Gotham Gangsters on the Move, they subpoenaed the video that we done. And they played the video in the courtroom while I was on trial facing a life sentence. Damn. And the song was called Heavy on the Grind by my group Gangsters on the Move. And we rapped about selling dope and doing shootings. But we weren't really rapping about what we really did. We was just rapping about it because it was entertaining and it fit the sentence. But when the government got a hold of the video and they played it for the jury couldn't decipher what was real and what was entertainment.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of niggas to them.
That's all they're saying. So from there forward, I ain't rapped about a gun, a shooting, nothing ever since. I might rap about some hoes. I might rap about some money. But I ain't rapping nothing about no gang lifestyle.
Yep, and I did notice that actually when I listened to your music. But yeah, I think it's really dumb, and I think you're really dumb out there if you put a gun in your video. And if you haven't heard stories of people who have gotten in trouble because they flashed a gun that was involved in a crime or something like that, then you know what? It's kind of on you.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I've pretty much prided myself on. If you look at all my videos, you might see some gangs in there, some gang members in there. But the gun thing, I don't do the gun thing. That's an instant case.
Yeah,
and then I want to say, at the same time, I lost two of my little homies from Portland since the last interview I did with you. They went from KERBY, but one was from Rolling 60s, and the other one was from CBC, another gang out of Portland. Guy named Banked Up Benzie, he signed with over there with Lavish D. And then Tinson, who was also out of Oklahoma, but he lived in Portland as well. I want to say rest in peace to them dudes. Yeah, Banked Up Benzie was tight. He was over there with Lavish D. They had good movement going on with the Banked Up. Yeah, it's tough when you know they got it and they can really make it, and they get cut short. That hurts. That really hurts.
I would actually like to talk about an experience that you had back in 1998. You know, you started your own label, Two World Records, and your biggest artist at the time gets arrested for murder. And, you know, hindsight being 2020, he spent 22 years. He just got out last year. I remember you saying that on the last interview. You experienced that, you know, 22 years ago. Take me back to that time in 98. You know, your label's cracking, and then this happens.
We had the label. The label was cracking. We had just came back out of North Carolina. North Carolina was like a cash cow for us. I took like 15 of my little homeboys over there. We started doing our rap thing over there in North Carolina. Really, we started going to the studio, recording songs in the Kakalaka. And then we went back home to Portland. At the time, I had a warrant in Portland for attempted murder on the police. Police had tried to pull me over. We was in a heavy beef with some cats out of California at the time. Police tried to pull us over. Some shots was fired. And one of the officers ended up pointing me out and saying I was one of the guys that fired the shots at him. And at the time, when they was looking for me, I had left and went to North Carolina. When I left and went to North Carolina, all the crew, the niggas that was riding with me, I took them all with me. From 17 to 23-year-olds, I took like 15 cats to North Carolina. We lived out there in Charlotte on East Crest. I bought my first house over there in Charlotte. I left Portland with about $900 and came back to Portland with $250,000. For 6 months in North Carolina. And it was beautiful. And all that happened while I was on the run and the police was looking for me. So my artists ended up getting arrested. Once I put my group together, got them, got to the move. DT the Mouthpiece, myself, and Infamous One Mo. Infamous One Mo was from KERBY. He's the one that ended up going to jail for the robbery murder later on when I went to jail for the shed. And DT the Mouthpiece, may he rest in peace, ended up dying. He OD'd. But that was our group right there, Gangsters on the Move. And then from there, we just kind of intertwined. Anybody that hung out with our crew or was a part of our movement was a part of Gangsters on the Move. So Mr. Wamo went and did 22 years for the robbery murder. He just got back out of jail. He's been out of jail maybe 6 months. And he's back doing music. And at the time, we had the town on lock. We were like the next thing to blow. We almost were like an NWA. We had the windbreaker jackets. We had the slaps from my boy Bosco. And Bosco did a lot of stuff for E40.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about one of the best producers in the game. Bosco!
Bosco hot. And he had a couple of tracks for us. And the town was on us. The whole West Coast was feeling us. We was dealing with Juice out of the Bay. He legit, you know, mess with the clicks, E40. We had some good movement going on. Feds came and got me, took me down. And then the Feds came and got Mo for the robbery murder while I was down fighting the life sentence for 30 years.
You eventually were hoping to go legit with the music thing, right?
My whole plan when I got the money out of North Carolina, being on the run, was to go legit with the music. Mm-hmm. That was everything. And just because I was gone and fighting the case, it left room for my artists to catch a case. So even though I was trying to go legit, once I went to jail and they took me away from the situation, it made it hard on everybody. But at the end of the day, Infamous Mo when Mo is out now, like I say, and we're doing music again. And he got an album coming out 22 years later. He's like the X-rated out of Portland.
That's dope. Did he record while he was behind bars by any chance?
He recorded a few songs, but we never put them out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always intrigued. I'm a hip hop nerd, so that shit intrigued. Because you mentioned X-rated, so that's why I just brought up in my head. But I've always found it fascinating, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s when it wasn't easy to record an album from prison. These motherfuckers were releasing albums and selling 150,000, 200,000.
Yeah, good, making good music.
Yes. Crazy shit, man. Nowadays it's easy. I actually talked to a couple guys locked up who have albums right now, and they're doing 25 to life. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, they made it a whole lot easier. I mean, from the digital, from the ADOT to the digital, made it a lot easier. You know, I got in the rap game, and around '98, I started my own label called Too Real Records, and it was called Too Real because I was just thinking, like, you know, out of all the stories and all the stuff I've been through, it's really been just too real. And my main artist at the time in '98 ended up going to jail for murder, robbery. He just got out of jail from doing 22 years. Man, to miss 1 month. And one thing we didn't do was mention other gang members' names who we banged against, because we didn't want to give them no props. We want to make them bigger than what they already was. And so to me, I've never agreed with putting other rappers' names in songs, because you're really just promoting them. I mean, and then with the dead, I don't believe in disrespecting the dead at all. Whatever you do, why is it to the living? Fine. If they involved, fine. But the dead, you know, I was raised with respect and honor, and we just don't believe in disrespecting the dead at all.
How do you think rappers with gang ties should move when they're, you know, bouncing from city to city, state to state?
Well, for me, I can really only speak from my experiences. You know, when I was moving with my crew and we was moving around, going to different towns, I knew people personally in these towns that I was going to. And they didn't have Snapchat and they didn't have Facebook, so where you could put all your business on there. You know, we moved real privately, you know, and when we didn't move privately, it was a public event. But security was on our side. We would let you know where we were going to be. But anything off of us being in the public, it was private. And we just didn't put our stuff out there like that, you know. We made sure that we were secure because, number one, you have to secure the bag. Securing the bag means make sure the money man is okay. Yeah. And a lot of these young people, I don't see them doing that. Even if you had to, as they call it, check in, sometimes it's better to check in than for you to have to check out.
Damn, that should be a fucking quote on a shirt. I love that.
Well, you know, we try to keep it real, and we want to keep kicking knowledge because we don't want to keep bumping into the same problems. As a black man, we don't want to keep bumping into the same problems.
Yeah,
we want to reach one, teach one.
Yeah, I mean, we got it. We're burning. We're a candle that's burning at both ends, man. We're killing each other. The cops are killing us. It's like we're gonna fucking be extinct soon.
Man, it's tough. It's tough being a black man out here. I don't care if you're young, old, fat, crippled, crazy. It's tough being a black man out here. And I take my hat off to every black man out there. But we got to do better as black men to make sure that we secure our futures and our kids' futures and our grandkids' futures.
So true, homeboy. So true. I want to ask you one more question. Something as an outsider that I find interesting. But what are your thoughts on musicians who join gangs after they become famous? You know, like the Lil Waynes, Chris Browns, you know, people like that.
Well, you know, I laugh a lot at those kind of characters because to me, those are characters. And they are portraying to be characters because that's not who they really are. I mean, that's not even what's in your heart because you didn't come from the struggle of it. You can't have money, get rich, and all of a sudden you want to jump on a gang. That's not real. That's the unrealistic thing that you can do. The realest thing you can do is have your money go your way and maybe pull some people up that have lived that lifestyle to live a better lifestyle, but to go out and to claim or portray to be a gang member and you're sitting in $1 million home where you're not on the front line, that's like the silliest shit to me that you can possibly do.
How much of it do you think there is extortion, you know, as far as security, you know, whatever the case may be?
I mean, part of it, again, if you want to secure the bag and secure your future for what you got going on, if you decide that you want to jump in that lifestyle, then you need to be paying. You need to be giving the bag up because you want to be around this so much and you want to live their lifestyle. They deserve to get paid for that lifestyle because it ain't been an easy lifestyle. All the funerals, you know, the house getting shot or people, the homeboy in the wheelchair or being in the wheelchair. You know, that's not an easy lifestyle. I mean, mentally, that's doing something to the mental, you know. So, like I said, I like Wayne's music. I like Chris Brown's music. I just think that, you know, the gang thing is not them. And as a black man, show our younger peers that are looking up to you something different. They can go home and see the gang violence. They need to see something a little bit bigger and a little bit different from a man that has the money to do it.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
2 times, you feel me? So,
damn. And you were in a coma for a couple weeks, right? After that?
Yep.
And the doctor said that you would never walk again.
Nothing. That's it, man. If you do walk again, you have to walk with those chains that have the what do you call it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, with the arm, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you actually beat the odds, right?
Man, not me. I said, not I. Said the Lokester. I refuse. But you know what really got me off my up out of that chair though when I went to YA, because of the paperwork. I read it and it said suspect or it said subject is confined to a wheelchair. And then it said basically that later on I was confined to having 8 years and 6 months, which ended up being 9 years and 4 months, right? But that confined, I didn't like that, so you're not gonna confine me. You might confine me to the walls and shit, but not me and my no. So I use that as motivation. You get it?
Yeah. Mentally, what were you going through, man, when you heard the doctor or someone told you that you're probably never going to walk again?
You know, I immediately thought about dudes that I knew that was like that and how they went through their struggle, because like I said, I'm not trying to put no extras on it, right? But I done been around some of the G's that done welcomed me in their homes. You feel me? Like my family is from Van Ness. You know what I mean? Like, so I was able to meet a couple of them dudes, and then one of them was in a wheelchair. I used to go over to his house in the jungles and help him. He rests in peace now, little Smokey B. You feel me? But I thought about him, then I thought about somebody else that I knew that was in the chair. You feel me? And then how they, you know, I don't know, just certain shit, but mainly just the ones that, you know, like Lil Smokey and this other dude from Van Ness named Snake. And I was there when them dudes got injured. You know what I mean? Like, and was basically like when they woke up that morning, they was cool like me, like you feel me? We put on our shit and we get on about our day. Who knows what's going to happen in the middle of the day? But I was there. And I seen the trauma. And so I just reflected back to them. And one of them got his mobility back and the other one didn't. But I just like the strongness. Like, you know how you motherfuckers say, oh, that dude's a strong-minded person, you know? For him to be having to go through this and then went through that, oh, that's a strong motherfucker. So I basically just adopted their ways and just remember them. And I use that as motivation.
I've been like staying out the way, you know, because I used to be in the streets a lot, you know, to the point to where the police, newbie, as soon as they see me, they chasing me, frisking me, crash jumping out, you know what I'm saying? And, I was out there just wilding out, you know what I'm saying? I was out there, taking over, blocks, downtown Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying, on Wilson. I almost got killed out there, just trying to be, this Slim Devil image, because that's what they call me, Slim Devil from Harlem Crips. So, you know what I'm saying? Trying to live up to that image as much as I possibly can, and, doing all that stuff, I'll just basically push myself to the point to where, right before I, got chased, with a gun, I ended up actually finding refuge in a church. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know it was a church, but like the night that I had actually almost got killed, I found refuge in the church, and I ran into the church, trying to get away from the guys that was chasing me with the guns. And it just so happened to be a church, and it's crazy. Like a couple of weeks later, I went. You would think like, oh, he went to church and he got saved, and he went there and he just got on his knees and he was like, oh, thank you, God, I'm never gonna go out here and do these drug acts. But no, soon as I got saved, I was right in my hood again, trying to go get a weapon and going to go put in work again. So, soon as I went out, soon as I got chased, I was the type of person that had to get my revenge. I got to get my get back. So, I was that type of individual at a young age. I was like about, maybe 18 years old at the time, somewhere around there. So, I've been out here all my life. So that's just the way it is, in the gang culture. If you really out here, you really trying to, be somebody, you gotta have that rep. You gotta have that bravado or whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? But, and I ended up right after I, went out there and I was trying to look for the people that chased me with the gun, and God wasn't nobody out there. You know what I'm saying? And, the block was clear, so the police used to always come and just, search and check everybody and make, check and see, who's selling dope, who got the work, you know what I'm saying? And people would be out there. We'd be out there late night just with a blanket over us, walking down the street like we bums, but the whole time we got work and we got all type of little activities going on. You feel like I'll tell a whole program because I don't want to give up, you know what I'm saying, any game that they don't know, but people that's from LA, you know what I'm saying, downtown LA, they know what I'm talking about with the whole acting like you a, smoker situation. But, you know what I'm saying, it's just, after that point right there, because I went from doing my thing, in West LA, I had my own little operation going on over there, you know what I'm saying, then I moved from West LA, then I started getting more heavier into my hood. Then a lot of things happened with my hood, with different things with the police and shut down different spots that we had going on. So it was like it ended up pushing me downtown. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I was at right before I went to prison. And then, right before when I went to prison, thank God I ended up going to prison because I was like getting shot at, getting chased with guns. I'm out here going to go try to put in work, doing all these wild things. So I needed something to slow me down. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I needed that. And I went to jail, and it was like I'm around everybody and I'm talking to people, meet different people, and gaining information and wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And trying to figure out like how it's people in this situation and how I could try not to come back, you know what I'm saying, to this situation. Because when I got to that point, to being in the county jail, actually, being there and staying in the county jail and going through it, it was an eye opener for me, because it was like basically we were in a big cubicle, like we were an experiment, and I had already experienced that, like the police was studying us from when we were, raided and stuff like that, the hood. So I don't want to, tell too, make, draw the story out, draw the conversation out.
If I
too
can have
far,
you back
but
on, maybe Trey, if it's cool, maybe we can get offline and we can all make the connection, and I can have you back on. Just to, kind of go a little bit in depth
cool,
and talk prison in general, and just once again to deter kids from just even going down that route. And I would like to even know more about your spiritual journey, as well, from going from Slim Devil to a man of God. You know what I'm saying? That's just so ironic that your name was Slim Devil and now you're just a man of God in a whole different realm. So I want to talk about that offline. I'm gonna get with Trey, and if it's cool with you, we'll make it happen.
For sure, man. I'm right here,
Cool.
man. Tapped in with
Good
you,
looking
Dusty.
out. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Well, Trey, man.
Right here.
Yeah. Avenue Trey, dude. Tell everybody what you have going on. Make any, give any shout outs, and then we'll move on to Phantom Loc.
I want to first start off by saying, my OG's label, King Mine, King Mine Records, baby. Shout out, salute. Also, shout out to the homie, No Sense. Run and tell, And as always, look forward to my nigga Phantom Loc. He dropping his music project, Silk the Lokester. And, shout out to the homie Lalo. And last but not least, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button for DustyVisionTV, y'all. And this Avenue's Originals.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Phantom Loc.
Well, there's been some changes to the label that I'm in right now. So, first of all, the name's changed. That's one. It's called Hey, That's Them Vibes Productions. And because of certain changes, it's just me and the homie, that's under the label and all that. Just be on the lookout for more music. I'm working on my second project still. At the same time, I'm also making a movie that we're planning on putting out on Tubi soon. I'll give you a date on when that's happening, but we're still in the production of it. It's also just to promote my music out. Shout out to the homie Low. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homies back up DMV. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the real Lokes up there I fuck with and all that. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the homies back in LA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Slim, you have any last words, man?
For sure. Y'all can follow me Instagram, King Mind Cola, King Mind Cola, KINGMINDKOLA on Instagram. Y'all can also follow me on YouTube. I ain't got a lot of, videos on there, but y'all can still, support if y'all want to support me, at King Mind, KINGMIND.KOLA on YouTube. I would throw the Twitter out there, but we could do that later on another day. But I appreciate you, Dusty, for sure.
Most def, man. Appreciate all three of you fellas, man, and y'all be safe, and I'll definitely be talking to you guys soon, all right?
Appreciate it again, man.
Much love. Peace to everybody. As an outsider looking in, and forgive me if I'm wrong in this, but because I live in LA and I work in Orange County, so I see the vast differences. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference, obviously. But one thing I notice is that I never see dialysis centers in good neighborhoods. I always see dialysis centers in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Is it safe to say, and this is, I'm asking you because you're in it. Is it most of our people that are that are on dialysis?
Yeah, you're right, bro.
It's most of our people, huh?
You know what? I ain't gonna even front you, bro. Because when I like I said, I'm a Cali baby, so I done lived like a lot of places in Cali. Even been on dialysis, and sometimes when I think it's California Valley or something like that, like past the IE, bro, they had to send me to San Bernardino to get dialysis, and that was like maybe an hour and a half there and back. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right about that. Just like in the hood, you see majority of all the liquor stores, the dispensaries. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's here. They're there for a reason, because that's the sign you need to pay attention to. You next. If you don't correct and stop the fuckery that you're doing the way you're doing it, you next. We got it right here for you. Either you gonna survive it or it's gonna take you out. And listen, I'm telling you, this ain't no little boy game right here. I'm on the most aggressive dialysis it is. You feel what I'm saying? You know, it's a lot of ways you can do it. You can even do it yourself at home, but your house got to be immaculate, and you need that moral support. So, like I say, God is my moral support. You know what I'm saying? God is getting me through it, getting us all through it that's on dialysis. Shout out to everybody that's on dialysis, that's fighting for their life. And ain't like it's no greater sin, there's no greater sickness. So shout out to everybody that's fighting for their life, whatever sickness you're going through, whatever discomfort, pain you're going through, just know that God is your comfort. And, you know, that's really like, you know, stay prayed up, you know what I'm saying? Because if you here and you fighting through it, you able to live to see another day, man, like you are super, truly blessed. Like I say, bruh, it's people that I've been close to with the music or just close to going on dialysis that's build a relationship, man. And I see you tomorrow, and tomorrow I come, they ain't here. You know what I'm saying? So, man, look, like I tell everybody, man, look, love somebody, hug somebody, care about somebody. Don't wait until that somebody 59, 69, 79 years old and then they get sick and, you know, old timers. Nah. Understand people what they go through. You know, sickness ain't got no age on it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to put your story out there. If you want people to know what you're going through or, you know, how to deal with you, put your story out there, man. It ain't no sympathy or empathy. I don't need none of that. I don't want none of that. I ain't looking for none of that. Never have been and never will be. But I want people to understand me, you know what I'm saying, and understand like, yo, you know, before this, you know what I'm saying, y'all know who I was. Y'all know what I was. You know, I wasn't nowhere this type of person. But to the new people that don't know me, they put it to it like, bro, you disrespectful, bro. You whoop this, that, and that. Your body language, your facial expression, bro. Listen, I'm not trying to like bore you out with what I've been. I just got shot in the neck, bro. It went down, hit 3 ribs, and came out my back. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Like, I am in pain. It felt like a python is squeezing me at all times. My left arm is still paralyzed, kind of. Like, I never got no physical therapy, bro. California hospital that's made sure I could swallow and make sure I could walk. And then they gave me my walking paper. You feel what I'm saying? It was none of no therapy for my arm or none of that. I've been doing my own therapy. So it's like I'm in consistent pain. And people are like, well, why do you come out if you in pain? Because look, bro, I'm not about to sit down and let this, what I'm going through, depress me. You know what I'm saying? Worry me to the point where I don't feel like I'm regular. I can't do because of what I'm going through. Well, you know, a lot of people I have to back up from. A lot of people that's backed up from me. And at the end of the day, I wish it won't be like that. But that's why I'm trying to do as much as I could do to put my story out there. Because it's like, yo, like I say, if it was your grandpappy going through this here, or your grandmammy going through this here, you'd be very understanding to the situation. But because I'm young and you see me do this, see me do that, and then when it comes to a conversation or when it comes to me, you know what I'm saying, being high and being because I don't feel good, whether I should walk around with a shirt saying I don't feel good, leave me alone. I'm trying. Mama said, well, you know, nothing comes to a failure but a try. So I'm trying to sit up here and no, fuck that. I ain't trying. I'm doing. I'm coping. Because like I say, bro, I go to dialysis. I see people on the machine. They look like mummies. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them that's quiet. A lot of them young, old, that's legs chopped off, fingers amputated. You know what I'm saying? Like all this that God is seeing me through, giving me favor not to have my limbs amputated. You feel what I'm saying? I'm still able to walk. Sometimes it's hard, but I'm still able to do it. And what's hard to me, I'll push through it. Because like I say, what don't kill you make you stronger. And I thank God for making me strong because, like I say, man, this right here, sheesh, ain't for no, man. Like I say, that's why a lot of people give up on dialysis. You know what I'm saying? Recipe to my dad, one of my daddies, he just passed 2019. He was on dialysis for maybe like 10 years plus, maybe 17 plus. And he just got fed up with it. He was only, 72, 73? You feel what I'm saying? And I mean, like, he just got tired. And it was sad because I was with him day to day, every day when he got sick and lost all his motor skills. When he got, you know what I'm saying, Alzheimer's and couldn't remember nothing. I mean, to the point where I had to, like, literally walk for him. Like, come on, move his legs to walk. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was crazy. And so for me to go through dialysis to see that, and then rest in peace to my Ada, Tink, you know what I'm saying? When I was raised in Texas, I used to go to dialysis with her every other day. So to be raised in Texas to go to dialysis with my Ada every other day, and then to be grown and see one of my dads die from dialysis, it's really like, bro, whew, it's like, it's scary. Because, like, tomorrow's not promised. The next minute ain't promised to me. I know we all going through it. But the fact of the matter is that at any given moment, my shit can stop working. At any given moment, it just is what it is. My kidneys is the situation getting better? To me, no. You feel what I'm saying? The machine and prayer is the only thing that's keeping me alive right now. If I miss a day of dialysis, like truly, I'll get sick. I'll get swollen. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I have to get rushed to the hospital. You feel what I'm saying? Once I'm rushed to the hospital, I'm in the hospital. They trying to keep me there for like a week or two, because it's like, you know, we're supposed to be okay. That's an extra treatment to get the swelling off. Nah, that's an extra 3 treatments to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real bad. So, like I say, man, going through this, people don't really understand how it really plays and mess up your mind. That's to be so young and going through something so intense, and then you done been around people that done lost their life off of what you're going through now at a young age. And it's like, yo, bro, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight with nobody. I want to get along. But it's like, I can't get along because it's like, I'm always trying to defend myself or let people know about myself, and like, yo, you got me messed up. That's not what it is. Like, I don't have no attitude with you, bro. I'm in pain, but yo, we chilling, we vibing, we out, we cooling. But you worry about everything, my facial expression and all that, they ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I say, it done separated me from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I be wanting to go out and be amongst people, but it's like, you know what, bro? It's dialysis day, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Don't even do that to yourself, because you already know the outcome that somebody take you wrong. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want people to understand, like, yo, get to know somebody's situation truly. Don't say you love somebody and you don't even want to do the research of what that person going through, if they going through something. But that's even on me too. I ain't gonna tell somebody I love them and not do the research of what they going through. So I need to know how to deal with you. I can't be with somebody and deal with you how I want to deal with you. That's not the reason to be with somebody. So yeah.
Man. Yo, I'm going to tell you, this is why I love doing my show. I came into this interview with a bunch of other questions. We were going to talk about a lot of other stuff, but we spent the majority of the time talking about dialysis and health. And I think this happened for a reason. I'm a believer in bigger things, and this happened for a reason, dog, because a lot of our people don't take care of their body at young ages, man. They're on that fucking Hennessy and backwoods diet. They don't drink water. Like, people, drink water. You don't know how important it is. Just fucking drink some water. You know what I'm saying? I know people who don't drink water. They'll just drink juices and Capri Suns and shit. And dog, you got to drink water. You got to care about what you put into your body. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, literally from the bottom of my heart, dog, for sharing that story. And sharing your story. And I'm really looking forward to your podcast, What I Survived. And dog, just keep doing stuff, homie. Just please keep putting stuff out there, because like you said, it could be a wrap at any second, and you're going to live forever with the stuff you're putting out. So thank you once again. Tell everybody where they could find you, and also please tell us what you got coming up. If you want to promote anything, the floor is yours, man. Okay, for sure. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you, Dusty Vision Radio, you know what I'm saying, for having me. Like, seriously, I really do, Thank man. You. Like, it's a great honor and a privilege, you know what I'm saying, that we was able to meet. Shout out to, Trey Avenue. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TB. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my loved ones out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can find me on social media, Instagram, under TY_FLY_CAMP. That's TY Fly Camp. You can find my music on all streaming platforms under TY Fly Camp. Shout out to Elite by Tastes.
everybody in Los Angeles, if you're looking for a grown place to come to, Taco Tuesdays, please check us out. Elite by Tasties. Once again, that is Elite by Tasties with a Z. Shout out to LG the Creator. We do have the Emergent Artist Tour going on right now. Shout out to Seattle, Washington for having us at the Stone Lounge. Next city is San Antonio, Texas, 210. That's where I really started my music career out there in San Antonio. That's where I dropped my first album, The Outcome 101. So shout out to San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to the Epic Bar, the Rasta Bar, Very Young, Red Boy, Afro Arby, Blackout. Everybody in San Antonio, shout out. You feel what I'm saying? New music dropping every day. I try to put out a song at least every day. You feel what I'm saying? Other than that, the tour right now is really what we focus on. But like I said, Elite by Casey, where you can find me and other artists is at, you know what I'm saying, on Taco Tuesdays, Faded Fridays, you know what I'm saying, Meditate Monday. We have a lot going on there. So that's, you know, look us up, tap in with us, you feel what I'm saying? Other than that, you know, I mean, like I say, man, shout out to all my loved ones, man. Shout out to Clemente Callaway and Cole. You feel what I'm saying? One Big Family ENT, Got It ENT. Man, you know, list go on, but I ain't gonna do you like that. But yeah, so yeah, that's what it is, man. Just check me out on all streaming platforms. TY Fly Camp. Oh, I got merchandise. You feel what I'm saying? So check it out. You know what I'm saying? I got the Wadadooski Babalooski hat. You know what I'm saying? I got the TY Fly, the Outcome 101 shirts, and the TFC music shirts. So like I say, tap in. More merchandise coming out. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just getting better with everything that God has allowed me to do. So, like I say, man, I'm trying to really put it out there like it's supposed to be. Yada.
And they tell me it's the white man I should fear when it's my own kind doing all the killing here. There was a unfortunate situation outside of a Chicago nightclub. That's right, Chicago is back on it. Chicago's been a little silent lately, and I'm not saying silent like that because it still goes down, but I used to talk about Chicago all the time. But lately, it seems like I've been talking a lot more about Chicago. Unfortunately, in Chicago this past weekend, 19 people were hit, 14 in critical condition, and 4 of those people will not make it to see their next birthday. Chicago is something different. The rapper who was throwing a album release party that night goes by the name of Mellow Bucks, and she is a female. And apparently this type of crowd was not even a type of crowd that would bring that type of energy. A lot of females there. It was in a very nice area of Chicago near the Gold Coast where FBG Duck was unalived a few years ago. I did a show, went to Chicago, did a show right after FBG Duck lost his life there. And I was walking around and I swear I was in Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. So that's the general area of where this happened.
We are following some breaking news, taking you live up to Chicago. This is a live look outside a nightclub where we have learned 19 people were shot and 4 of those victims have died, we're told. This is in the River North neighborhood, the area there in Chicago, if you're familiar with that part of town. According to our NBC affiliate in Chicago, they say the shooting happened outside this nightclub. We are still working to learn more information. We'll bring you the very latest just as soon as we learn it.
How many shots were fired to where that many people were hit? This is why, and I'm going to guess this was a situation where someone put a switch on their weapon A switch is a little mechanical piece that you put, and it turns your pew pew into brrr. And there's a lot of that, and those are about as illegal as it gets. But what makes this a big story and why this will definitely be put right at the top for the police in Chicago is because this happened in a very well-to-do neighborhood. And just like they caught all of those dummies that took the life of FBG Duck near the Gold Coast section of Chicago, just like they caught them, literally had them from the time they left the hood, got the call to when FBG Duck was there, got them in the goddamn going down the stairs, jumping in the car. They had them on freeway cameras, had them getting off the freeway, making a right on the street, spotting FBG Duck, popping FBG Duck, pulling back out, going home, smoking a fat backwood, drinking a 40-ounce, thinking they had just got away with it. Meanwhile, cameras everywhere, especially in these type of neighborhoods. And the fact that this happened in this type of neighborhood, oh, baby, you better believe they are putting this at the top of their list. But whether it happened in a nice neighborhood, a shitty neighborhood, it sucks that it is still happening. I think Chicago over the 4th of July weekend alone had something of like 55, 60 shootings. Summertime, people are outside, and when they say they're outside, And it takes nothing for an idiot to come by and brrrah. Now, I don't know too much about the situation right now, but I'm sure once I investigate it for 5 minutes, I can piece the whole puzzle together. But apparently the rapper who was having the party that night was affiliated in somehow, not saying she was part of, may have did a song with them or something dumb like that, or did a radio podcast, I don't know, but was somehow affiliated with a certain group, and they've been beefing really heavily with another group in that city. This ain't that type of channel where I'm piecing shit together. Go to DJ Academics, because that's where I get all my shit. It's your boy DJ Academics. I get it from DJ Academics. So if you want any more deeper information, I am pretty sure he has like a 3-hour live right now. And as soon as this show's over, I am going to go down that rabbit hole and see if I can get a little more information on what happened. Sad situation, though. Leave your comments down below. What are your thoughts on this horrible situation outside of a Chicago nightclub where 19 people were hit, 14 are in critical condition, and 4 are deceased? Chicago is something different. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.